Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Let's welcome in TJ Katz, a student at Columbia and the former international president of BBYO. Also, Rabbi Menken joins us, managing director of the Coalition of Jewish Values. Guys, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on today. TJ, I'll start with you. And first, let me show you this poll. Again, this is one poll. You don't know exactly who was asked, but it takes a look at support for Israel among Jewish Americans. And it says that adults under 45, only 42% support it. 53% of adults over the age of 45 support. So you've got older people, and I'm not saying anyone 45 plus is old, but a trend of younger adults not having as much support for Israel. Does that stand out to you? What do you make of this poll?
Absolutely. I think that there are a few factors to consider when looking at this poll. First being that there were only 1,000 Jewish Americans surveyed here, representing the voices of 7.5 million people in America. And I think that to an extent, we have to take those numbers at face value. But more importantly, we have to understand that support for Israel among young Jewish Americans is definitely waning. Young Americans do not like war. They do not like what's being presented to them on social media. And they are a really malleable group of individuals who can see all this information being presented to them online and obviously so clearly being affected by it. I think that there's a multiple amount of steps that need to be taken to sort of reverse this trend, and understanding that it starts with the youth. It starts with forming a strong, positive view of Israel, both as a Jewish American and a non-Jewish American, understanding that they are one of America's greatest allies and they're the only democracy in the Middle East.
Rabbi, it is a small selection of people that were polled there, but why do you think that the numbers show the way they do? I mean, is support waning for the younger Jewish community?
These are younger Jews who, as TJ just said, are malleable, and they are being fooled by social media and by stupidity. It's interesting that the video you just showed was a video of Orthodox Jews in New York. Those Orthodox Jews in New York are completely of a different school of thought with regards to this, because they are informed, because they know a thing or two about Judaism and Jewish history. You know, they've been accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza literally since 2005 when Hamas took over. It's Hamas propaganda. And to be completely blunt about it, when young women like Arbel Yehud are being raped on a daily basis, and your only contribution to that is to believe that Israel is committing genocide trying to rescue her, you are a sexual deviant. The idea that you can accuse Israel of genocide in this circumstance and be a decent human being is simply bogus.
That's not the only poll we wanted to discuss with you today. Here's this. It shows of those surveyed, nearly half of American Muslims have a positive view of Hamas. Of course, we know the terrorist group holding Gaza in its grip for nearly 20 years. So 11% religiously unaffiliated view Hamas favorably, 17% Black Protestant view Hamas favorably, and 44% Muslim view Hamas favorably. So, TJ, I mean, we obviously lived through the horrors of what happened on October 7th. That wasn't that long ago, only several years. And yet this is the poll results we are seeing. What do you make of this data point?
I definitely think it's concerning. I mean, as a Jewish American, I only feel comfortable speaking on behalf of my fellow Jewish community. And I know that I absolutely come from a community that does not believe in this distress, that believes in peace, that believes in a future in which all people can coincide one another. And I can only hope the same for other groups. And I think that the unfortunate reality of the situation is that not all groups believe in this. And I experienced that on campus, where some of my fellow students did not believe in the opportunity for Jewish students and non-Jewish students to be able to coincide on campus together in a safer, better tomorrow. So I know that as a Jewish American, I can only hope that all other groups can come to the conclusion that Hamas is a terrorist group. Hamas is what is causing the unrest in the Middle East. And there are a variety of different issues that need to be attacked, coming from this angle of how can we learn to just live aside one another peacefully.
Rabbi, to that point, I mean, you're seeing this on college campuses, but you're also seeing it at the polls as well. And when people go to vote, I mean, we're seeing people that are against Israel get elected to office, and that seems to be, that sentiment gets shifted down in these communities. So I mean, how do you prevent that, or what's pointing to that shift that we're seeing?
Well, there has to be truth told once in a while. I mean, Ro Khanna and his bogus story of being detained. He was not detained. He tried to go into a closed military zone. You don't get to wander on to Andrews Air Force Base in the United States either. So you don't get to go there and claim you were detained when they said, wait until the police come in and they'll let you in, because you didn't tell us you were going to come here. I mean, this was simple stuff, but he's not willing to behave in a simple, civilized way. The architect of the Hamas attack of October 7th, Yahya Sinwar, had brain cancer and was saved in an Israeli hospital. It's either that these idiots on the campuses in America are idiots, or it's the residents of Gaza who are idiots. Because before October 2023, they were sending the sickest of the sick of their citizens to Israel for better treatment. That doesn't happen if you think that these are the same guys who are going to put on a reservist uniform and go into Gaza as necessary. So how do you tell me that those people really believed that the Israelis were committing genocide? If so, they would have never handed over their sickest citizens for treatment in Israel. So you either believe that the residents of Gaza are idiots or the folks on campus are idiots, and I choose the latter.
Yeah, or the people who show up at protests who say free Palestine, and you ask them, well, from what? And then they don't really have any response to that. We've seen
very
so
simple,
many.
Free of Jews.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Very clear.
All right, TJ, Rabbi, we've got to leave it there. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.